Hello, welcome to the Amazing Nerdiverse. I'm Jeff Grant.
I'm Steven Tukert.
This is the podcast where we talk about all things travel.
Yeah.
We're talking about traveling around the world. Every episode of this podcast is broadcast from a different part of the globe.
Right now we're in Alaska.
Yeah, next week, Scandinavia.
And after that, Australia.
Yep, we're doing it.
And then...
We're living the dream.
And then... Florida.
Florida, yeah. And then Lilburn, Georgia.
I've never been to Lilburn.
What? Yeah, you are. Our high school was in Lilburn.
I've never been there.
I didn't really go either. I don't know if I can claim I've been there before either. All right, anyway. This podcast where we talk about all things good and geeky in the Amazing Nerdiverse.
So we're not talking about traveling.
No.
All right, well...
I barely leave my house, let alone the county. All right, so this week we're going to be doing 2 episodes back to back. This first one is going to be all
in
reviews,
Japanese.
All in Japanese. Back to the travel thing. We're getting ready, preparing for our trip to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Getting all geared up.
Geared up.
Good. Konnichiwa.
What else do you know in Japanese?
That
about sums it up, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Mr. Abato.
Is that racist?
That's Japanese. Dome Arigato, Mr. Abato?
That one song?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
I'll believe you.
All right. Well versed in my Japanese. All right. That was a waste of time. Hey guys, Jeff here. We went long on this episode, so what we decided to do is break it up into 2. This first one's going to be our Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 spoiler review. If you haven't seen the movie yet, we did a regular review, video review on the YouTube channel, The Amazing Nerdiverse, so you can go check that out for some spoiler-free thoughts on the film. But this episode, we're going to go in-depth completely with all the spoilers. And also, make sure you come back next week for the second part of this episode where we go into a couple more movie reviews, including spoiler talk on Alien Covenant. Alright, so without further ado, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Spoilers. Spoilies. Here they are. Next week, I got a big week next week.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Baywatch on Monday.
All right.
Reviewing that for Heroic Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going, and you're invited. I asked you Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that Tuesday. Wednesday, I got 2 passes to a fan screening of Wonder Woman.
Did they put it on Wednesday on purpose?
Why? Wonder Woman Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's been their
Probably.
thing. Like, that's been their marketing gimmick. Wednesdays are Wonder Woman Wednesdays. So, yeah. They're doing them all over the country. And I snagged a couple of passes for it.
Are they going to CGI some more biceps onto her?
Okay. You're an asshole. And then next Saturday, I'm going to see Captain Underpants. Yeah. Let's do this.
Okay. All right,
so yeah, let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I hated
it. I mean, you heard my review if you watched our video, so let's hear your review.
It was good.
What? It's always what you do. It's good. No, let's talk about it. Like, start of the movie. The very beginning, we get to see that flashback to the...
At
was
first.
it 1980?
Just...
Let's.
I've never felt more betrayed in my entire movie viewing life.
Well, let's get to that, but let's just start and take the movie linearly.
Fine, let's
start with the opening and the 1980 of him and the mom and the driving around and the young Kurt Russell.
That
happy. Was cool. Yeah.
I was like, oh, what a nice moment this is.
They've been doing that a lot lately with making everyone in the Marvel universe. Like every movie now starts with them younger.
Yeah.
Like Civil War had like Robert Downey Jr. young. Yeah. Michael Douglas and Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. Like they just keep doing that. Those effect kind of thing. This one though, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that it wasn't as much digital trickery as it was just like he was clean shaven and makeup and everything. Like he's
probably
still
a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean he's still a good looking man.
Yeah.
Still pulling that off. Yeah. Oh, that hair. But yeah, he was. It was a great scene, and they go out into and then he plants that thing or whatever, and it's like kind of cool little moment. And then of course it'll come back to that later. And then you get the big opening scene with the Guardians fighting the obelisk. What did you think about that?
I thought that was a lot of fun. I liked
the opening credits scene.
I like seeing little baby Groot dance.
Yeah. Let's compare it to the first one. Did you like that opening credit sequence more than the first movie where it's just Star-Lord dancing around to the?
It's hard to. I mean, I like them equally. It's hard to just say
kicking little rat creatures around.
Yeah, it's hard to say which one I liked more because it's two different types of feelings.
Yeah.
This one they're all together. You don't feel like they're in it, obviously, because it's the very beginning of the movie. You don't feel like they're in any real danger.
Yeah.
Because they're also just cracking wise and this is kind of old hat by now. This is what we do for a living.
How crazy would it be if when Drax jumped into the creature's mouth, he was just dead? Like, they killed him right at the beginning of the movie. It's like, well, that's how to set the scene.
That's how he goes, huh?
Yeah.
Just, that scene was a lot of fun. I like seeing them getting swatted around in the background.
Yeah. I like those kind of scenes where, like, something's going on, something silly's going on, and just not, like, crazy violent nonsense is going on in the background. I like those things. They were protecting those power source battery things for the Sovereign. What do you think about the Sovereign? Those
you mean Hellboy people? 2, The Golden Army?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, well, they're still there by the end of the movie. I think they're going to be a bigger player in the third movie. Like, in the comics, they're like that kind of thing. They have that, like, really shitty kind of, better, like, holier than thou kind of
attitude. Well, they are made out of gold.
Yeah,
true. So...
But, like, I like it's a little later in the movie, like, but when they show up to that place where Yondu and all them are, and they're, like, rolling out the carpet thing, it's like, I really like that. But yeah, so they're doing that, Rocket steals some of them.
Yeah.
And, like, so the whole thing thereafter, I loved the it was like a video game, like, all the people flying the ships, that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because, like, it's pretty fun and crazy and energetic for the first, like, act of the movie, and then it really slows down in the middle and just lets it get into, like, a more personal, like, character kind of story.
I like that, really though.
Cool. Yeah, like, it's not, like, that's not a, like, nagging on it or anything. I did feel like, I mean, as a whole, I did feel like the movie was a little bit long.
I mean, I didn't feel that at all. I felt like it just kind of jumped along quickly to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
because I liked seeing any of them just talk to each other.
Yeah, no, I love that stuff, and, like, I don't know what it was, but, like, as it was getting to the end and everything, it was like, all right, this should be wrapping up, and then it just kept kind of going for a little bit, and, like, the big sequence. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a downside of slowing it down that much in the middle of the movie, because after if you spend all the time, while I didn't dislike any of that time spent slowing it down and stuff, it did feel like by the point where it started to really get into the climax, it was like, all right, like, it feel like wrapping it up and everything. Not that I mean, I could watch these movies for 3 hours or whatever, but
yeah,
I know, I'm just looking at it from, like, a typical audience member. 2 hours is good for the most part. We meet, first of all, like, they meet that planet where they were at, where Yondu and all them and the Ravagers. You meet some other Ravagers, other brand of Ravagers and everything. I really liked that with Stallone and everything. What did you think about all that stuff, and how about expanding that whole world of the Ravagers and stuff?
I thought it was good. I had to think about it for a little bit so I could figure out what they were talking about at first. Because I didn't quite get it, like, why they were kicking him out at first.
Yeah, because...
And then it made sense later on. Because, like, it kind of happened so quick, and then they kind of bring it up again later. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why.
Well, at first, you only really feel, like, it only makes it seem like he said no kids. We always said no kids. Like, that was the one rule, and that's why they kicked him out, because Yondu kidnapped kids. But I had always thought, it was just the one kid. It was, he was getting Peter for Ego.
Yeah.
And then decided not to give him to him.
Uh-huh.
And it was always like, why did he decide not to give him to him? Like,
well, then that's because he figured it out.
Well, yeah, well, like, part of it, like, always did feel like, I mean, maybe he did just keep him for selfish reasons, like, because he was small, he could fit in places and stuff.
That was probably part of it.
Yeah.
But then, like, that's just, like, the surface level stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And I liked all that stuff. Like, we've always been surface level with Yondu. In this movie, we really got to see behind that and everything like that. I always thought that was really cool. Oh, you got to see Howard the Duck in that scene. He was in the.
I mean, that's fine. I don't care about Howard the Duck.
Yeah. It's just a fun little cameo character.
Yeah, it's fine for me.
But I really like seeing, Stallone as Stakar. It's something like that. Starhawk in the comics. He's he's playing a guy named Stakar Ogord / Starhawk is his character name.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to see a couple of these characters throughout the movie. These other Ravagers. Did you know anything about those?
I mean, I kind of pieced together that that's like the team from the comics, like the original. But
yeah, the original in the 70s and 80s, there was a team of Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics that were the original Guardians of the Galaxy, first team to use that name historically in our world, but in their world they were from the year 3000. And so one of them ended up coming back in time during the 2008 run that introduced Star-Lord and Rocket and Groot and Drax and Gamora and those versions of the Guardians. And that's where they took that name from them, from the future, so they were the Guardians before them, like in the timeline or whatever. But so yeah, they didn't. I mean, they didn't go by the name the Guardians of the Galaxy in that, but they established all those characters. Those characters like Starhawk and Martin X was played by Michael Rosenbaum. He was like the kind of crystally looking guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Charlie 27 was Ving Rhames. Michelle Yeoh played Alita Ogord, which is Starhawk, Stallone's character's wife.
Okay.
And in the comics, like somehow I think they kind of merge or fuse together, and they're the same person as Starhawk. I don't exactly. I mean, I've only read the after the fact versions from the 2008 run, so I don't quite know all the details of that. There was Mainframe. It was voiced by Miley Cyrus, the robot thing, the creature with the face. And then there was a big like worm-like creature named Krugar, who in the comics becomes the Sorcerer Supreme in the future after Doctor Strange. He's a future Sorcerer Supreme, which is really awesome. So yeah, James Gunn teased that those characters are going to have a future in these cosmic movies and stuff, and we'll be seeing a little more of them. I'm hoping that, I mean, the third acts of all of these Marvel movies are getting bigger and bigger. Like, Civil War was the third act of the Iron Man movie. I mean, of the
you Civil don't even War, know where you are.
No, I'm tired, dude. But no, I was thinking of Iron Man as I was saying that Iron Man the third act was the big thing with all of the Iron Man costumes. Thor Ragnarok is gonna be this big epic end of the world thing. Avengers Infinity War is the third one, and that's gonna bring in all the characters together for the first time. Civil War, like I was saying, is the third act of the Captain America movies, and it's like bringing all these characters fighting each other and stuff. I think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to be a similar thing where it's
going to be the old
and new versions of the Guardians like coming together to fight something. And I don't know.
They're going to fight each other first, and then they're going to.
Yeah, probably.
Because you gotta.
What they really should do is because the reason in the comics, the reason Peter Quill brought all these characters together was even before that 2008 run, there was a storyline like called Annihilation or something like that, and there was a character named Annihilus that was like a big threat to the universe kind of thing, and that was like the first time they all saved the galaxy together and stuff, and that was really what they should do for the third movie. But Annihilus is owned by Fantastic. He was first introduced in Fantastic Four, and so, but then again, so was Ego, and they made a deal because Ego was the perfect person for James Gunn. Like, this is the perfect person that he wanted to see as Peter's father. So they made a deal with Fox to let Marvel use those characters, and then they did the deal where they can change. Negasonic Teenage Warhead's powers and stuff like that in the movies. So as I was talking about Ego, let's talk about it. You were mentioning it before. Ego, the betrayal you felt there.
I hate him.
Yeah.
I've never felt equal parts angry and sad in a movie.
Like, I was so bummed out.
At first, he was like cool and charming, and like you liked him.
And he was fucking Kurt Russell. Like,
he was
I love
being
that.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah. He was awesome and charming and all that stuff, and then he like flipped that switch and revealed what was really going on.
Here's what I thought. I thought when he said like, "Why did you leave my mom?"
Mm-hmm.
And then like later on he gave the bullshit excuse of, "Oh, it's like this song. We're the sailors in the song, and we get called out to the sea."
Yeah.
I was like, that's gonna be his surface level bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I already knew that, and I thought was he caused her to get sick on accident.
Yeah.
Like, not radioactive, but you know what I mean? Where it's
like that Spider-Man Rain storyline of the future Spider-Man where just by being with Mary Jane, she ended up...
So that's what I thought it was. I thought it was like, I tried to get away from her so that she could live.
Yeah.
But no.
It was too late.
This motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, I do want to say one of my favorite moments in the movie is earlier when he's explaining everything and the power and the light and all that stuff. Like, he's basically showing Peter Quill, you're like me. You're like a god, a lowercase g god with all these abilities. Like, you have that within you, kind of thing. And I thought that was really cool that they did that. I mean, it was not like it wasn't really like a permanent thing.
Yeah.
And it was really only there on Ego's planet that he really has that kind of power and stuff. So it doesn't leave. The movie doesn't leave Star-Lord in this like incredibly powerful position in the future. I did like how that was done, but when he's talking about all the things you'll be able to do, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make some weird shit, man."
Yeah, that was funny.
That was one of the hardest times I laughed in the movie.
I like little things that, like when they're superhero fighting, each other. And they start putting all the rocks around him.
Yeah.
You remember that little bit?
Yeah.
Ego makes himself, but then, like, Peter makes Pac-Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, it's very, like, here's this thing I love, Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's this thing I love, me. It's,
yeah.
Like, you fucking dick.
His name is Ego, dude.
It's
but perfect. Like, oh, man. It's such an interesting twist, because we talked about before the movie, like, we didn't quite know what the story of the movie was. We knew that was the thing. We always knew that, like, we got let in on the fact that Ego was his father pretty early on into the development of this movie.
And I think, it makes sense now why, like, you can just do that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to twist it at the end anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I always thought, like, they revealed that, like I felt weird about them revealing that because I was like, I feel like that should be something you wait a little while before you hold off on it, like Doomsday.
Right.
But no, like they had to establish him like going in,
because when you see it in the trailer, you're like, oh, it's his dad. They're gonna go on like a cool adventure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No.
Dad's the asshole.
Dad's such an asshole.
Yeah. So he's like.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This one really got me. The first one, I rewatched it again, and it just been a while since I've seen it. And just the opening scene just punches you right in the balls right off the bat. And then for me at the end, the "We Are Groot" thing never really like. I loved it. It was such a sweet, great moment, but it never bothered me because I read the comics and I know that Groot doesn't die. But James Gunn, he did like. To me,
it's not that he dies; it's that he says something different than I.
Yeah.
It's the sentence.
It's
we
are Groot.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I that moment didn't really hit me because I knew he wasn't.
Is it because
like if that was like him dying and saying we are Groot and everything, and like Groot wasn't around anymore, that would have really got me. But just knowing the fact that he's gonna grow and do.
Is it because there wasn't a face hugger?
Yeah. I cry every time the face huggers sacrifice themselves to impregnate someone's mouth. But the thing that did get me, like, when they're all standing there together and she's like, take my hand, Peter, and and he reaches out and grabs her hand, and like he sees his mom there in that moment. Like that is the one that gets you at the end of the first one, more so than the "We Are Groot" thing. But I love that moment and everything. This movie, the one that got me was the Yondu stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my god, like.
Which part?
Well, just no, like the end and everything. Like, you know, it's just such a great like. They did such a good job of like breaking the storyline into like Peter and who else is Peter, Gamora, Drax, and Mantis and all them go off with Ego, which real quick touch on. What'd you think of Mantis?
I liked her. I thought she was good. I like that her and Drax are like friends and they didn't try to do like a romantic thing.
Yeah.
Because that would have been like easy and like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Also, like people still like, you know, the way it was done, it could be like like, oh yeah, they're eventually gonna set them up, but
yeah.
James Gunn, like he did a whole like hour-long spoiler like Facebook live chat answering questions and stuff, and I recommend watching that. It was a lot of fun, but he explained a lot of stuff, and talking about that moment, he's like, no, there's no relationship there.
Yeah, they're just...
He says exactly how he feels, and that he's like he thinks she's ugly, and all that stuff. He's like, you're not ugly, you're beautiful on the inside. Drax was funny. He had a lot of really funny stuff. Most of pretty much everything he said was a joke or humorous line or whatever. But I just loved Mantis and everything. I thought she's a really cool addition to it, and just I don't know. I really like the way she was played. She's not the character from the comics. And I wrote an article today with Steve Eaglehart, the guy who created that character, said that he's like, that's not Mantis or whatever. He said I was like, I liked it, but that's not Mantis and whatever. And yeah, I mean, he's right, but like I did like this version of that character. It's such a really interesting character as a whole. It may not be the one from the comics, but so yeah, they all split up, Rocket and them. So Rocket and Groot and Nebula, she got stuck back with them for some reason. Of course, she got away pretty easily and chased them down and started shooting at Gamora, and like that was a fun sequence and everything. But then, you know, Rocket and Groot and Yondu were taken by the Ravagers, and they turn on Yondu and they lock them all up and everything.
I like their math sequence.
What happened?
You know, remember when they were talking about $250,000?
They were trying to figure it. Yeah.
A third, and then I just like Yondu in the middle of going, no.
Was that where they were like tied up and
there was 25? No.
I love the taser face. He was a fun character, and I loved Steve Agee. He played Jeff, just the one guy with the like big glasses and stuff. I really like Rocket's
story arc over the thing.
Yeah,
where, like you learn. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, he had that great moment at the end. Where Yondu is going out to save Peter, and like Gamora's about to go too, and he shoots her and stops her. It's like, I'm already losing one friend today. I'm not gonna lose two, or whatever he says. Yeah. That was like his like kind of like thesis statement, like character in a good movie, well done, written and stuff. Like all the characters have the one line they say that's like that was his story, like his thesis statement or whatever. And that was his for me. Just like We Are Groot was Groot's in the first movie. Those little things in the movie that kind of bugged me. I felt like the Groot, when Groot was trying to find his fin, I felt like that sequence kind of dragged on a little too long. It was funny, but like I know, like in jokes, like it's like the rule, like, you know, you keep topping yourself with the next bit, and it's like, oh, when is he gonna get this right, sort of thing. But like when he drags the desk in there, I was just like, all right, you're going a little.
It didn't bother me that much.
It doesn't really bother me. It's just when they drag too long, like when they go too long with certain jokes. I mean, it was funny for like a second, but like, you know, all right, get the fin and let's get going. But then he gets that awesome fin. I love that he finally got the full on fin, and he's using. And I didn't even notice this the first time. The fin is related to the arrow. I never knew that.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah, that was cool.
Kind of like an antenna type.
Yeah,
type
yeah.
Deal.
That was really interesting. That was a really interesting idea that I didn't realize. Oh, the another interesting idea. I mean, I think I mentioned this in our review. The quantum asteroid field.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really cool, like, sci-fi, like, idea. Just the quantum asteroid field where the asteroids were, like, popping out of nowhere, then, like, disappearing, and then popping somewhere else. Like, that kind of, just, like, it's not only is it like a fucking asteroid field, but they're coming out of nowhere, too. Like, I just thought that was a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then that leads into the thing where he's like, oh, that 1-inch guy saved us.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? He's like, I don't know. Maybe if he was closer, it'd be a little bigger. But I thought that was great.
Idiot.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure we cover the majority of the movie before we get to the ending.
Mm-hmm.
Because the ending, holy shit, like it, like I think this one hit me more than the first movie did, as far as like.
What about it did?
Well, the first one. By the end of it, because
your dad is a planet?
Yes. No, just like, the first one, the beginning really got me. Right. With the mom, yeah, that sucks. I mean, it was such a quick thing. We didn't really get to know those characters at that point or anything, but it's still just a crushing scene at the beginning of the movie, and then the end is just that moment where he sees his mom and he can finally take her hand kind of thing. It's really Gamora. But this one was the whole the way it played out, and like Yondu, essentially Peter's left behind. They have to go back to get him. Yondu goes back to get him, and he only has the suit for one person.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like in the first Guardians movie where Star-Lord goes after Gamora and puts his mask on her. Similar kind of thing. And he goes out and gives it to him, and like there's nothing he can do. He's like he may be your dad, he may be your father, but he's not your. What did he say?
He may be your father, but he ain't your daddy.
He ain't your daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like that was like his like character thesis, I felt like.
Sure, and it wasn't just like Mary Poppins, y'all.
Dude, that was like it's kind of sucks because that's become a huge thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know about that before you saw the movie?
No.
It's become like everyone's talking about it. There's like petitions to get him in, like they're doing a movie like Mary Poppins Returns with Emily Blunt playing Mary Poppins.
All right.
And there's a petition to get him a cameo in the movie, Michael Rooker.
Uh-huh.
But that was so funny to me. Mary Poppins, y'all. That was great. But yeah. So like that moment, he sacrifices himself, and it's just like, oh shit, are they gonna save him? Are they gonna get there in time? It's just like, no, fuck.
No, he's done.
It was a bummer, but like, cause like his story was so well done in this movie. It's just like, he has to die, right?
Yeah.
Like,
because you know what it is? It's in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
If they had let him live, it would have been like The Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
Wherein at the end of when Batman's flying the bomb over the city, and there's that one shot of him just kind of in the cockpit, and he looks at peace, and he's like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, oh my god, they're going to kill him. But I was also like, this is going to be just okay, I'm saving everybody. This is my time to go. Mm-hmm. But then the reveal's like, no, he's fine.
Yeah. No, he's like, just in some shitty cafe and no one's Batman now.
Like, why would you do that? Why would you take that really great end away from it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's what I really like. They committed to that, and of course, like James Gunn talked about it in that Facebook thing. He loves Michael Rooker to death. Mm-hmm. He puts him in all of his movies ever since they first worked together on the Slither, I believe, was their first movie together. And he puts him in all of his movies now. And he actually said that was one of the reasons where he almost couldn't commit to doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because he couldn't imagine doing it without Michael Rooker. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, he said he loves the guy so much and he really hated writing that, but sometimes that's just what you have to do. Like the story tells you where it should go, and that's kind of what it had to be. And like when they revealed that Ego was an asshole, I was so bummed out. And I was so like, I don't know if I like that or whatever. But,
well, you don't like it in the way that they want you to not like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then And I was like, really,
because it
all
just
this
ruins
time,
everything.
like, they just
It ruins.
yeah,
Um, it ruins that moment where Peter was playing catch with him.
yeah,
It's like you're just fucking around. You don't really care.
yeah, but then I just flashback and remember it just when he turns into David Hasselhoff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that moment, and then you realize like, oh, he's this part of him that he always felt was missing all along. He had that really, like,
yeah,
and like it's just a matter of perspective.
I really liked.
Everything.
What do you call it? When he's about to square off with him, and Yondu says, "I don't use my head to control the arrow," and then Star-Lord starts thinking of like all his nice little memories with everybody.
Yeah.
I was like, that I really liked. I liked the flashback of him and Yondu, like he's teaching him how to shoot.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was awesome.
I really liked just him and Rocket just flying.
Yeah.
And like, we're flying.
Yeah.
Him dancing with Gamora.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to music with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Just laughing with Drax.
Mm-hmm.
It was just cool. I liked it. And
yeah.
Then
that was like the him seeing his mom moment from the first movie,
mm-hmm.
like seeing all these things.
But now it's everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's included.
Yeah. Now it's got that whole family and everything. I love that. Yeah.
And I think Chris Pratt did a really, really, really great job of looking like an empty vessel. Mm-hmm. And I mean that like as an actual, like when he touched him in the forehead and his eyes are black and stuff. But he just looked like a shell of a... Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was awesome, yeah. I really liked that stuff. It was really cool to me. Like,
mm-hmm.
all that stuff. Also, when he gets pissed off at Ego, he's like, you killed my mom.
He said, you shouldn't have killed my mom and smushed my Walkman.
Yeah. that was awesome. But yeah, so Yondu sacrifices himself. It was so fucking... You know it's coming, and you just there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Just watching it happen, it was a bummer. But then, like that was rough on its own. But then that funeral scene and like all the stuff that came after that, and like Kraglin gives him that fucking Zune, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny.
He's like, this is what all the people on Earth are using to listen to music now, and which is hilarious. But like still, like he plays the Cat Stevens song "Father and Son." I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
They picked like as much as I say like this soundtrack was not as good as the first one.
I like it though.
It's fine for what it is. It was more like it's all built into the story of the movie and everything.
Yeah.
But as far as the songs themselves, they're not songs that I would, like the first movie were like all kind of like a greatest hits of like the 70s, 80s kind of like compilation thing, but. This one didn't really feel like that to me. It's like a lot of more deeper album cuts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that song, that was the one I was like, oh, fuck. Did they pick a song on that one?
Yeah.
Like that's one that'll punch you right in the balls. Like after like the theme of this whole story and everything, father and son and that stuff. Like holy shit.
It's a really great moment when I was proud of Groot when he pressed the right button.
Yeah.
I was honestly like, good for you, little buddy. You did a good job.
He stopped and thought about it and did the right thing.
Where did I get I got really emotional when Ego was like he had Peter in the little light thing going through his chest, and he's like kind of telling him off like, you're a piece of shit, I'm disappointed in you, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get the quick shots of like everyone around him just getting like kind of crushed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Rocket trying to fight it off.
Yeah.
He's getting like smushed. Yondu getting covered.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why it did so much, but like when Drax is running with Mantis, and he's getting engulfed in the planet.
Yeah.
And he tries to just lift her up just a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like,
you just keep her from getting dragged down to
like,
yeah.
Even though it'll happen in like a second later, he's like, if I can just 1 second more, hold her up.
Yeah.
I like that. Damn it, I was going.
I did like how every character kind of had their big thing, like they had their role to play.
Uh-huh.
Although, like, she had her role to play. Mantis, like, she like reached down and touched the stream thing or whatever, and like made him go to sleep and everything, and like that was her role to play in that. Mm-hmm. But then she kind of got knocked out and everything.
Well, they can't all.
Well, I know, yeah. Like I was kind of bummed that she was knocked out, but I was like, she did her part,
right,
and everything before that. But I just liked her so much in this movie.
Yeah.
Like she's my new favorite. Like I really liked that character, and like I like the character in the comic for different reasons. Like it's interesting. It's really interesting. I find it like how much I like this character, but in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what it was. When they finally stop Ego, and he's about to die, and he said, "If you kill me, you'll just be human." He's like, "What's wrong with that?"
Yeah.
And then when the bomb goes off, and he just melts away, like in Peter's hands.
Yeah.
There's like a second where he's like, "This dude like ruined my whole life, but he was my dad," and he's just watching him melt away, and he's like, I mean, I guess that like there's a moment where he's just kind of sitting there, and there's nobody else around him. He's just by himself. He's like, "Well, all right, I guess this is it," and he doesn't know that Yondu's about to come and get him. I really like that.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, "Well, I hope my friends got away."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I really like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still like, even now, like I remember in my first review I said that I think I might like the first one a little better still. I don't know, I'm torn now. The more I think about this movie, and I haven't gone to see it again. I really want to. I was waiting because I thought maybe me and you might go see it again, because I know you hadn't seen it, and I was gonna, if I had to take you myself and force your ass to see it, I was gonna make you see it. So that was my plan. But no, I think I'm gonna go back and see it again, like sometime soon, like in the next couple weeks before it's out of theaters, because I really like this movie a lot. And I think the more I see it, the more I'll enjoy it, because there were some things that I may not have liked in the moment, like that Ego reveal and stuff, that now knowing where it's all leading, I might like a little more. I will say, the one thing I was kind of a little disappointed on, the whole time leading up to this film, I kept talking about, I just want to see Kurt Russell's face on a planet. And you do see it.
Yeah.
It does happen. I mean, like, there's the whole, like, when they're fighting and stuff, as you were saying, like, Ego takes on his form.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and they do that, but I was really hoping, like, you know, we'd see a little more, like, that wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but when I think it's when Nebula's arriving, and, like, she's flying down to the planet, and you see the planet, and you see, like, the kind of face in the planet, that's, like, what I wanted to see, but you only see it for, like, a quick second. I wanted a little more of that. Just give me a couple establishing shots of the planet with just his face on it.
I think if you had showed that earlier, it might have given it away a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this dude
it would have, yeah, but
you know
for
what I mean?
me,
Like,
like,
why...
I know, for me, I know that he is the planet. I kind of feel like they were still a little subtle with that. I think some people might not have even gotten that after seeing the whole movie, not knowing that he is that planet.
Yeah. Like, the Kurt Russell of it all was just like a...
construct he made, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, the funeral scene, and I'm so dumb. I'm so fucking dumb sometimes, because, like, earlier when he was like, you ain't, like, Stallone saying you're not going to have a Ravager funeral, when he said that, were you going, oh, no, Yondu's going to die?
No, not at all.
Me neither. Like, I'm just so engrossed in all the story, I don't even think about those things. I'm a writer. I should be able to pick up on those things and go, oh.
Well, you're not very good.
No, I'm not. And it's like a gun in a play. Like, you know, if you see a gun in the first act, you know it's going to come back by the third. It's the same kind of thing. He cursed him by mentioning his Ravager funeral. And at the end of the movie, we see a Ravager funeral. But which was great. Which was great because you didn't think you were going to see it. And then you saw it at the end, and it was so great. All the Ravagers showed up for him.
Yeah.
Because they're like, he wasn't such a bad guy. And he did it for a good reason, like the thing, and he stopped and saved Peter and all that stuff.
I hate Ego. Oh God.
He might be one of the better Marvel villains that we've seen in a while, just because of how effective he was at like making us like him and then making us really hate him.
God. Just you son of a bitch.
How dare you make me hate Kurt Russell?
It's hard to do.
It's really hard to do. That just shows how good he is. He can somebody that you love so much just make you hate him. I mean,
obviously, like he's called Ego.
Yeah.
But I thought it was gonna be like a fun Robert Downey Jr. type. You know what I mean? Where
where it's his ego. Yeah, like I mean, he does have those funny moments, like where they're all hanging out and like he's talking about he has to go like I gotta go take a whiz or something like that.
Yeah.
There's those little funny, humorous things, or when Drax is trying to figure out how he impregnated Peter's mom.
I just hate him.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, my mom's not special?
Yeah.
Like, how many brothers and sisters did he have then?
I haven't even thought about it in that. He had so much family that was he took away from him. Even just more than just his mom. Yeah, I didn't even think about it in those terms.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
That's his brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So yeah, the funeral at the end was, dude, I was in a press screening, so I'm sitting there alone, like around, surrounded by all these like members of the press, and I'm just like
Trying not to
got
cry like a
tears
bitch.
in my eyes. Like, no, they're there. Like, I'm crying. Like, the tears are in my eyes, and I'm just like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to look like a bitch in front of all these people. This is my first press screening. I'm over here blubbering. I wasn't blubbering or anything. I was tearing up and everything. I was really trying to keep it under control.
It's hard.
It was hard. In this movie, it was hard.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hated it.
do you have a rating for it?
10.
10?
Yeah.
You gonna give it straight up 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Right on. Oh, you want to talk about the post-credit scenes real quick?
Okay.
Because those are all pretty big. Like,
well, some of them I didn't know what the hell they were talking about.
Well, okay, there was 5 of them.
Uh-huh.
The first one was the Kraglin thing with the...
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. It was mostly just for humor, although I don't know, maybe Kraglin's can be officially part of the group the next movie.
I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't either. I think I mentioned in my other review, I was surprised by how big a role he had.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was going to be one of the guys that initiates and he kind of is a little bit. He kind of initiates
Well, he didn't mean for it to go that far.
He didn't mean for it to go that far, yeah. I thought he was going to be on the side with Taserface and all the other assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Taserface and Jeff and all those guys.
Yeah.
But, I like how they put Groot in the little tiny costume.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he's so cute. So yeah, that's the first one. And yeah, you're right. I wouldn't mind seeing him in the third one. As another part of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Even just like the way he was involved in this movie, where he was up on the ship and just kind of doing stuff up there as they were all down on the planet and everything. Even in that capacity, I liked him and his involvement. What was the next one? Is that the one with the Guardians? Where they all come together again? I loved that scene.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go steal some shit.
Yeah.
Like, that was such a great moment, and that was like, yes, the Guardians, like, that other version officially exists. And it's everybody except for the one character from that iteration of the Guardians that I put in my list for Heroic Hollywood. I wrote this article, the 10 cosmic characters we want to see in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Mm-hmm.
And my list was every character but the one I put on my list, which is a guy named Major Victory, who came back in time. He was the first one of that Guardians 3000 group to come back in time into the present day storyline with them. And he has Captain America's shield. And I think that would be a really cool thing. Somebody from the future that carries Captain America's shield long after Steve Rogers is dead.
Like, that makes me sad.
Oh yeah, but he's like from 1,000 years into the future. It's the same thing with like the worm that becomes the Sorcerer Supreme after like 1,000 years into the future.
Yeah.
After Doctor Strange is gone.
I guess.
Well,
it was the when Rocket is defending the ship.
Mm-hmm.
While Rocket was jumping around through the trees.
Oh, I love that.
All I could think about was Captain America exists in the same universe that this talking raccoon jumping around in the trees,
taking out all these fools.
Yeah, they both exist.
That does make me happy.
And they will meet.
Speaking of, okay, so this movie is the first Guardians film was 2014.
Mm-hmm.
This movie takes place a couple months later, so this one's also in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
The Avengers was 2012, and then Avengers 2 was 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie takes place before Avengers 2.
Mm-hmm.
In that scene, the scenes on Earth, where it cuts to Earth and that thing is growing and making that thing like...
Yeah.
And presumably that's happening all over the place or whatever. But when it's happening on Earth, and you're seeing that, like I was like, how cool would it be if the Avengers showed up in that moment? And you just see, like, I mean, it would be out of place.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, as a fan of, like, and wanting to know, like, timeline stuff, how cool would it be if you just saw the original 6 Avengers kind of showing up as, like, trying to save people during that? Because, like, nothing was really, it was just people were dying there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't notice this, but James Gunn pointed out, you see Peter's grandpa in that scene from the first movie. Remember, like, his grandpa that's, like, taking him out of the room and stuff like that? From that movie, you see him for a minute in a truck in that scene.
Okay.
It's really cool.
That Ford.
Yeah. Hopefully see him again. What if we see him and what if Peter goes and visits his grandpa when he goes back to Earth for Avengers?
Not that excited about his grandpa.
No, it would be cool story wise. The first Guardians is about a mother. It's about his mother. The second Guardians is about his father. Third one's about his grandpa.
God damn it, I hate his dad.
What an asshole.
Just.
Well, no, he's not his dad. Yondu's his dad. And that I like.
Right, that's true.
That makes me really happy, actually. Yeah, I just thought it would kind of would have been cool.
You were gonna eat me. That was being funny.
Normal people don't eat people. All right, yeah. So the third post-credit scene. It doesn't matter which order they were in. There was the one with Aisha.
Keep thinking Moesha whenever you say it.
Yeah, there's the one with Aisha with the cocoon.
Yeah.
And that's teasing Adam Warlock, because Adam Warlock is like he's in a cocoon or whatever. He comes out and he's like super powerful being, and he's gonna be part of of Guardians 3.
Yeah.
And everything. Not Infinity War, unfortunately, even though he's involved in the Infinity Gauntlet storylines in the comics. The thing I mentioned this. Do you remember when we did a review? I talked about something we called something that happened in the movie on the podcast. We were talking about. I
can't remember what it was.
It was We were talking about teenage Groot.
Oh yeah.
They did that in the movie. He wasn't teenage. James Gunn he clarified that's like tween Groot. That's like adolescent Groot.
Uh-huh.
But still, like I love that scene. That scene was great.
Groot.
Yeah.
I'm not Groot.
Groot. You gotta clean this place up, man. You're just playing games all day.
You know what? This is really backseat driving.
Mm-hmm.
But if they gave him like some leaves in his face and he just kind of did the little swoosh,
that would have been amazing.
Like
just a little... All right, and then the last one. I loved Stan Lee's cameo in this movie.
Yeah.
He works for the Watchers.
I don't know if you caught it, but like the first time that he shows up, he said I was
a FedEx.
Yeah, I was like, so wait, you go from being a FedEx driver to being an astronaut? So
no, well here's the thing, he's a Watcher. Those guys are the Watchers. Yeah. He works for the Watchers. Basically, what that there's that fan theory that Stan Lee, all of his cameos are one guy, and he's a Watcher. Essentially, this confirms that, and he's reporting to the Watchers, and he's out there. And that's why he's always seen in all these movies. He's just out there living and reports to the Watchers.
Okay.
So in the scene where he said he was a FedEx delivery guy, he was just telling them stories about all that stuff, which is really cool. But James Gunn I didn't even realize this. James Gunn is like, I screwed up, guys. The FedEx thing. Remember, this movie's set in 2014. Civil War was in 2016.
That's okay.
Yeah, so he kind of screwed up there, and he admitted it. He didn't catch it until
time travel.
Until too late. But he did say that maybe he was a FedEx guy at another point. Maybe that was telling it of a different thing. But yeah, so
like time travel, right?
I love that cameo. They can, yeah, but
sure.
Stan Lee exists across.
If that's the one fuck up,
yeah, I'll forgive that in this movie.
Fine.
Like so much awesome shit going on.
Well, you know what? Weren't they like jumping through a bunch of?
Yeah. Well, they weren't jumping. They were like, it was like gateways to like different places in the galaxy, not really different.
Right, but
times or dimensions or things.
You know
like
how
that.
like on a racetrack, like if you're going around in the same thing, but if you're further out, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the time will be different. If you're on the outer lane.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What are we?
Like if you're on a racetrack, right?
Wait, what movie are we talking about right now?
We're still talking about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
I'm talking about the time difference that he's talking about, being the FedEx guy.
Yeah.
And when they're coming, they're zipping through the portals.
I think it's easier to explain that he's been a FedEx guy more than once.
Fine.
That was James Gunn's preferred explanation. Which is kind of a bummer. Apparently he threw, like, when they were filming that, he threw out a bunch of those. Even, say one time I was I was a DJ at a strip club, like Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that could have been a really interesting nod to, like, tie all of those movies,
Mm-hmm.
like, where his cameos are, like, in all these different realities and shit. But, yeah, I was a little bummed by that. But, yeah, still, like, that was cool. Like, that cameo was awesome. Like, that's why I was saying it may not be my favorite cameo. It may not be the funniest, but it certainly was, like, the geekiest, like, really most interesting cameo he's done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else you wanted to talk about the film?
Nah.
I think we covered everything?
I think we did.
All right. All right. If you like this episode of the podcast, please do us a favor. Go on iTunes. If you haven't already, please click subscribe and leave us a review. This is the most important thing you can do that can help people find this show. The more positive reviews we get, the more likely people are to find it. Help us out, please. If you do that, we'll give you a button. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video and subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. I never say that, but leave a comment. Let us know what you like.
Nice comment.
Yeah, be nice now. Leave us a comment. Let you know
stupid.
what you like, what you responded to, all that stuff. Share this show with your friends on social media and follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/theamazingnerdiverse. We're on Instagram at Amazing Nerdiverse, and on Twitter, I'm Jeff_Grants.
I'm at Steven Tukert.
And we are at Nerdiverse Pod. And finally, make sure to check out theamazingnerdiverse.com for all that and very little more. And until next time, I'm Jeff Grants.
I'm Steven Tukert.
You're at Steven Tukert.
I sure am.
And we'll catch you next time right here in the Amazing Nerdiverse.
Hit 'em.